Good evening, everyone. We'll call the City Council to order at 8 o'clock on Monday, April 5th, 2021. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. As in the past, for this council meeting, we'll be implementing the governor's executive order regarding relief for the open meeting law. This allows councilors to participate remotely. All votes will be via roll call. There is one public hearing, and I will go over the process for participating before agenda item number 3. There are 24 items on this evening's agenda. I'll now ask the clerk to call the roll to confirm attendance.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner is present.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette is present.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas is present.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera is present.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish is present.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin is present.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landis is present.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram is present.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing is present.
Councilor Perlman.
Councilor Perlman is present.
And Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby is present.
11 present, sir.
With all councilors in attendance, I will now ask the clerk to read agenda item number 1.
Who's microphone?
The other microphone.
Oh,
turn that on.
sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry.
It's okay. I will now ask the city clerk to read agenda item number 1.
Minutes, City Council meeting March 22nd, 2021.
Mr. President,
Councilor Tenera.
accept the place on file, please.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Perlman.
Councilor Perlman votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landis votes yes.
And Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to accept and place on file the minutes is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 2.
COVID-19 update to the City Council from Mayor Vigent, requested by City Council President Ossing.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President, members, for allowing me to come down tonight and give you a quick update. First of all, good news. School opened today for all of our grades up through the 5th grade, so it doesn't affect anyone directly in this room, I don't think, unless there's something I don't know, but no, it's great to have the kids back in the school, and the teachers have been great about cooperating and trying to figure out how to do it. So I want to thank all of them and the school committee and the superintendent for getting the kids back, and soon we'll have the middle school and the high schoolers back too. We still continue doing testing down at the sports center. We're still averaging in the area of about 1,800 tests in the city between there and the hospital directly. We've seen a couple of upticks in a couple different areas, but for the most part, it's been pretty steady. And if you look at our numbers, our positivity rate for the last 14 days is 2.99%. So we're under 3%, which it's been a long time since we've been there. We currently have 86 cases in the city. So we're keeping an eye on that. So that's the end of the good news. We did get 160 doses for our health department from the state allotted for homebound people. So we're really excited to work with the hospital and our own health department in getting those 160 out to the homebound people. And as fast as they'll get them to us, we'll get them out to our residents. So that's really important. In addition to that, they're also running a clinic for about 42nd doses for our residents through our health department. So we have a little bit of activity this week, but that's really the end of the good news. The hospital received 800 doses for our new clinic up at the Marriott on Felton Street. All 800 doses are for second vaccines. They received no first doses this week. They are receiving, hopefully, approximately 1,000 doses from, the state is sending, I'm sorry, the federal government is sending vaccines to some of the clinics and smaller facilities, the community hospitals, and they're getting them directly from the federal government. We're not in that queue, so we're not allowed to get them, but the problem is they're not able to get them out in the street. So Marlborough's hopefully going to be receiving 1,000 vaccines from one of these clinics, and we're really excited about that. So hopefully this week we have 1,000 going through the Marriott vaccination site, and that's through the hospital, but it's like the handouts from another facility. So we're still frustrated. I was on a call today with John Garside in the state. Now we're in the process of being assigned a color, and they'll be allocating people to certain colors for their vaccination. So if we're light blue, the people in the light blue area will come to our vaccination site. So the hope is that they can complicate this a little more. We have FEMA now down at they're opening a mega vaccination site in Boston. So we got Big Brother in Washington telling Big Brother in Boston what to do. And we just keep trying. Our site is up and ready to go. We have the people there. And I emphasized that a few times. We've had the volunteers from Assabet that are more than willing to come over again and help us out. They had 30 nurses that were going through the program, legally allowed to vaccinate, and they were all helping out over here. And we just continue trying to get everything approved. And even the approved sites, I just want to warn everyone that once we do get approved, and I'm confident that we will get approved eventually, but even the vaccine sites that are approved for the regional sites have not received vaccines. So once we are approved, it doesn't mean we're automatically going to start getting 750 first doses a day. So with that, I'll open it up for any questions you have or the council has, Mr. President.
Questions for the mayor? Council Navin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mayor. That's great to know about the 160 homebound doses that the city allocated. Do you know what the universe of homebound patients that have requested it is? Is it already maxed out? Is that something that people should know to call for? Does the Board of Health have an understanding of who else needs to be vaccinated that's in that particular category, and will we be getting those additional vaccines? Thank you.
Well, again, when this opportunity came up, we figured we'd jump on it. They gave communities the option of doing them locally or allowing the state come in to do them. We offered to do locally because we're up and ready to go. But they're getting information in our health department from the senior center. I know Lynn Faust is working with her group and getting information. We've been working with the churches, so we're kind of putting feelers out all over the place to try to get as many of these out there as we can. The good news is all 160 of the homebound doses are J&J, so it's one shot as opposed to going back a second time. So they seem to be, the state has done a real good job on trying to utilize those for the homebound people so they only have to go on one trip and we could take care of them. So we're going to continue any niche that they have open, we're going to try to jump on.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Council Landers, were you all set?
Yep. Fine.
Council Oram.
Thank you, Mr. President. And the mayor just answered one of my questions. I was curious if the vaccine being utilized for the homebound is the Johnson & Johnson one shot, one dose. I have a couple other questions, if I may. The first one, are we doing pooled testing within the school systems?
Yes.
And with that, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I just, we have the testing working, and also we have, we ordered thousands and thousands of test kits, so we've been staying on top of it up at the schools.
And on that notice, are we, as we're seeing throughout the state, seeing an increase in the percent of younger people testing positive for COVID versus the way it was at the beginning with more the elderly testing positive? Are we seeing those same results in Marlborough?
Yeah, I think there's no question that we're seeing the average age come down. It's not concentrated in the school-age children, but it's definitely come down from some of our senior population. A lot of them have been vaccinated through the nursing homes, through the assisted living, through the public housing, and through our over 55 complexes. So a lot of them are through their 2 weeks now, so we feel a lot more confident that they're in pretty good shape. But we still have some that are out there that are calling now saying, you know, I changed my mind, I want a vaccine. So we're trying to take care of them also.
And just one question off that, the Board of Health, are they trying to message the best they can to the groups that are seeing an increase in the positive test results so they can take the proactive approaches such as mask use and being attentive to the COVID procedures to prevent spread?
Now, we have 3 ambassadors out there, bilingual ambassadors that are out working with the different churches and the neighborhoods to make sure the message gets out there. We plan on utilizing them as much as possible to get into our substantial Brazilian population. It's kind of funny, we have 15.1% Brazilian population, but we don't fall into that so-called equity category for some reason. I haven't figured that out yet, but in my discussions with the administration, it was, you know, we should have a walk-in clinic up on the hill. There's no question about it, and it's been very, very frustrating. But to answer your question, yes, we have 3 ambassadors out there that are pounding the beat, and we've had them in place while we were doing all the testing to really get the communication out there.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Oram. Councilor Perlman.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Mayor Vision, for the very helpful update. I think it's important for all the councilors to be aware, so we appreciate you coming down with this information. One of my questions is around the percentage of residents who've been vaccinated. I know when you came down before, the state kind of sends that data in chunks, but I was wondering if you had a sense of how many residents across the city, percentage-wise, have been vaccinated.
I haven't looked at that state data, but again, I think as I mentioned last time, I have some questions as to how accurate it is with the different people getting vaccinated in different places. I think, you know, when you talk to people and they're driving around the state to find locations, it's great that we are getting quite a few people vaccinated. It's just disappointing they have to drive to get there. But I think a lot more have been vaccinated than we probably would have in the data.
Yeah, I agree with that. I imagine, especially with the first doses and then the second one, you know, that data coming to us a little bit later. And my other question is, I know the Board of Health worked to kind of promote, given some of the recent holidays in the last couple of weeks, to make sure that, you know, folks were not gathering and wearing masks. Are they prepared for any sort of increases that might come about given the holidays that have occurred recently?
Yeah, I think we've kind of anticipated a little bit of a bump. Maybe a little bit from Easter and the Easter holiday, but obviously we have vacation coming up next week, the week after next, and we anticipate a bump after that. There's no question about it. So, and you know, people, as much as we emphasize it, people are definitely letting their guard down a little bit, and the problem is you don't know who's letting their guard down and who's completely vaccinated at this point, but we just keep putting a message out there.
Okay, no, I appreciate that. I was curious. And the last question was just to clarify something you said earlier. You said 800 tests for COVID. Was that per day, per week? I'm just curious how many tests we're doing in a certain increment of time.
It's approximately 1,800 for the week.
Okay, for the week. Thank you.
That's what we were doing daily originally when it peak, but now it's about 1,800 a week between the hospital and the Stop the Spread test site.
Okay, and How long is that continuing for at this point?
I believe our contract at this point is up through June, but as I told DPH today, we'll stay open as long as you want us to stay open, as long as you send some vaccines down too.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the mayor? Any other questions for the mayor? Seeing none, Mayor Vision, thank you very much.
Thank you, Council, Mr. President.
Then move on to agenda item number 3.
Now is the time for the public hearing on the application for a special permit from Attorney Brian Falk on behalf of Global Montello Group Corporation to construct and operate a drive-through facility to serve the current All-Town convenience store on the site at 656 Boston Post Road East. Order number 21-100, 8215.
A few comments before we start the public hearing. Please keep your computer or phones muted when not speaking. Unmute to speak, and then mute when you're finished speaking. And if you're calling in via phone, you can unmute by pressing *6. Just like if the public was in the chamber, please be respectful while waiting for your turn to speak. The system does not work when everyone tries to speak at once. We will do our best to give each individual an opportunity to speak, so please be patient. Do not watch the meeting on TV. There is a delay. Your remote access capability is real time. Should there be a technical issue, we will recess and determine if they can be corrected. Then at the conclusion of the public meeting, the council will recess and the system will be cleared of participants, and the council will continue on with the remainder of the agenda. So, like all public hearings, they're conducted in 4 stages. Those 4 stages are public speaking in favor, starting with the applicant, questions from the public speaking in opposition, and then questions from the city councilors. And I ask that any member of the public speaking to please state their name and address. So with that, we will open the public hearing with the public speaking in favor, starting with the applicant.
Thank you, President Ossing and councilors. Brian Falk from Myrick O'Connell here on behalf of the applicant, Global Montello Group Corp. And please give a wave or let me know if you have any trouble hearing me. I can't always tell. Joining me tonight is our project team from Global, our design team at Bowler Engineering, and our traffic experts at McMahon Associates. As mentioned, this is a special permit application to construct and operate a drive-through facility to serve the existing all-town convenience store and food service use at 656 Boston Post Road East. Could just go to the next slide, please. So for reference, this is the mobile station and all-town store that's roughly opposite Home Depot and Target on Boston Post Road East. Next slide, please. This is a closer view of the project layout. Back in 2001, when this site was first permitted, it received a special permit for a drive-through. The prior owner, ExxonMobil, changed course and abandoned the drive-through in favor of the existing layout of a gas station, convenience store, and car wash. The gas station and car wash uses are now pre-existing non-conforming uses in the new Wayside zoning district, and they're going to remain unchanged at the site. In addition to adding the drive-through, and you can see the window there on the left side of the existing building. In addition to adding the drive-through window, Alltown is proposing to add a outdoor seating patio, and that's on the right side of the existing building on your screen. That's an as-of-right use subject to site plan approval, and that's something we would be adding in addition to the ongoing renovations of the existing convenience store building. If you could just go to the next slide, please. And this is a view of the proposed renovated building with the drive-through again on the left side, the western side of the building. So the drive-through will serve the Alltown store only. We're not adding another food vendor or coffee vendor. This isn't going to be the site of a Dunkin' Donuts or a Honeydew. This is just for Alltown. An Alltown Fresh label, which has a number of food and beverage items, breakfast sandwiches, other breakfast items, salads, lunch sandwiches, coffee, lunch bowls. All that would be available at the drive-through window. The plan is not to have everything in the convenience store available through the drive-through, although that may come at a later date if the drive-through proves successful. If you've looked at some of your plans, you'll note a lack of a menu board or an ordering board. That's not an oversight. This window is going to be serving the Alltown app. It's by mobile app order only. It'll be really more of a mobile curbside or pickup window than a traditional drive-through. Customers will order with the app. They can note their own pickup time and then enter the drive-through to pick up when the food is ready. Similar to many of the curbside options you've seen at some restaurants and retailers through the pandemic, which is growing in popularity. But instead of parking in a designated curbside spot, app customers will be getting into the drive-through lane when their order will be ready. And again, as I mentioned, this is going to be a limited item menu at first, food only, store offerings maybe at a later date, but certainly not right now. And one thing I wanted to mention, this was asked by Councilor Orem when the public hearing was scheduled, was about age-restricted items, lottery and tobacco products. They will not be available through the app. Anything where an ID has to be checked, you'd have to go into the store and go through the traditional route at a later date, again, if store items were available through the drive-through. But you wouldn't be able to order cigarettes or lottery tickets through the mobile app. Could just go to the next slide. Another view of the building. One more, please. Okay, and then the last one, please. Or the next, that's it, yep. So this is some of the on-site directional signage we'll have to make it clear to customers that the drive-through is for app pickup only. So folks aren't getting into the drive-through lane thinking they're looking for an ordering board. This is something that came up when we met with the site plan committee last month to make sure that on-site directional is clear to folks. If we just go back to the third slide, please. Yep, that's it. Thank you. So again, the site design, we think, provides ample queuing capacity for vehicles that be using the drive-through lane. Parking capacity at the site will remain the same, which is 30 spaces. We'll be adding a few spaces towards the back where some spaces will be taken up by the new drive-through lane and the new patio. But at 30 spaces, we're roughly double the parking capacity that's required in the Wayside District. The Wayside District has a lower parking requirement than the store was required at the time it was built, and we're maintaining that increased parking number. In addition to our special permit, this project requires site plan approval. Because we're in the Wayside District, that site plan approval comes through the council. We have to apply and go through the site plan committee administratively first, and then back to the council for final approval. And we'll be submitting that application soon. We wanted to go through the special permit hearing first to hear from councilors and from the public before we prepared those final plans. And one other item is that we will require Conservation Commission approval. A portion of the site is located in a buffer zone. You can see that at the top right of your screen, that red line. There's a limited amount of work there, and so we will be going to the Conservation Commission for that. At this point, I just want to turn things over to Bowler Engineering to briefly walk you through some of the site details, and then I can wrap up. Bowler?
Hi, thank you, Brian. So I can probably speak to a lot of it. And sorry, again, just for the record, my name is Zach Poison with Bowler Engineering. I can probably speak to a lot of the site elements that have been improved with this rendering up right now. So as Brian already stated, the driveways are staying as they are right now. We'll be adding in the patio and the drive-through, both of which are removing some existing stalls. So that's why you see that there's some additional parking stalls on the east side of the site and also towards the northern part on the other side of the drive-through. We will be maintaining a 20-foot drive-through, a 20-foot drive aisle between the drive-through and those parking stalls to provide and continue to provide access to the car wash and to the underground storage tanks for the petroleum that's stored on site. We have, I believe it's 8 queuing stalls, and from the added impervious, we'll be including a water quality unit to help substantially improve what's out there right now. There is an existing drainage swale slash sediment basin. We'll be expanding that along with the improved water quality unit. Also, the pedestrian access. This had been a comment from the site plan review committee. We are providing access to the street for pedestrian traffic as well. They'll bring you in from Humphrey Drive towards the building by way of the patio. We are also improving the circulation around the building by making it more clearly a one-way circulation with a counterclockwise direction. We're also adding in a landscape island coming out of the drive-through again to make it a little bit safer, a little bit clearer for vehicles coming into the site, that's an exit only. Also gives vehicles leaving the drive-through and any deliveries leaving from that side of the site a little bit more room, a little bit more separation from traffic circulating around the gas canopies. Again, the car wash will be staying operational, and I believe that really covers just about everything that we're hoping to do with this project.
Thank you, Zach. I just want to mention briefly, as Zach mentioned too, we met with the site plan committee last month to do an initial walkthrough, and we'll look for their comments to be coming to the Urban Affairs Committee. In addition to setting out the usual abutters legal notice, we sent letters to the full abutters list in advance of this public hearing, just to introduce ourselves, introduce the project, and to provide a point of contact for abutters who had questions about the project. We haven't heard from anybody, but that offer still stands to take questions and comments from the public that they may have. And that concludes our presentation. Mr. President, we're happy to take your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Falk. Are there any other members of the public speaking in favor of the project? Any members of the public speaking in favor? And again, it's *6 to unmute if you're on your phone. Any members of the public speaking in favor? Hearing none, I'll close that part of the public hearing. Questions from the public? Are there any members of the public with any questions? And again, it's *6 to unmute your phone. Questions from the public? Questions from the public? Hearing none, I'll close that part of the public hearing. Public speaking in opposition. Are there any members of the public speaking in opposition? And again, it's *6 to unmute your phone. Any members of the public speaking in opposition? Members of the public speaking in opposition? Hearing none, I'll close that part of the public hearing. Questions from the city councilors. Councilor Wagner.
Thank you, President Ossing. I'm unclear. So I see where the patio is and the existing building where the store is, and then it looks like there's a grassy area behind it where the cars queue up for the drive-through. Is there something, there look like there's drawings on that green, which I'm assuming is a grassy area, and I can't figure out what that is. Is there going to be structures there? What is the drawings? Thank you.
Hi, so this is Zach again with Boulder. Between the building and the proposed drive-through, there's an existing grassed area, like you had originally thought, and then there's also an electrical equipment back there and some planting beds. There's a few mature trees and some screening around that electrical box.
Hang on, Zach. I just want to make sure Councilor Wagner gets her question answered. We want to get to the right, the next one. One more?
I think, yeah, that's it. I couldn't.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, that answers it. I just couldn't figure out what those structures were, so that answers the question. Thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
All set, Councilor Wagner?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Councilor Doucette. I'll go
Thank you very
right
much,
around.
Mr. President. If you can leave the picture up, I'd appreciate it. Really, two quick questions. Right now, there's an air compressor that's actually part of the services you guys provide. I know lots of people use that one. Is it going to be moved, or is it going to stay the same, or is it going to be removed?
So we are proposing to keep the compressor and the vacuum in its spot right now. Okay. And that stall being oversized and in the existing conditions should be enough to maintain that.
Right. I didn't
Plus you
see...
get an extra stall right next to it on the other side that can make use of it.
Mm-hmm. Right. I don't see it on the diagram, so that's why I was asking. That's okay. Also, there will be no changes to the sidewalks on Route 20 except for when the state moves in and starts redoing things, right?
I'm sorry, I couldn't,
sidewalks.
I couldn't hear you on that question.
The sidewalks on Route 20, they're not going to be affected at all?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Doucette. Councilor Dumas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. City Clerk, if you go to the next slide. My question is, I'm just a little confused regarding your signage on the building. It appears that the drive-through window is on the left, and that's where the signage is indicating, but to enter the drive-through is on the right. Is that correct?
That's correct, and it's a good point, Councilor Dumas.
I just want to make sure that I'm not. So they would have to go to the right side to go through, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Councilor Landers.
Thank you, Mr. President. A comment and a question. My comment is 14 or 15 months ago, I probably wouldn't be so excited about this. I'm not so sure if I'd support it. But drive-throughs are so important after what we just went through the last 13, 14 months. I mean, for the elderly, for the young people with kids and so forth. So I think you're going to see drive-throughs, and that's how some of these businesses survive. My question, though, is when you talked about a limited menu, I can see the coffee, the Danish, I guess hot dogs and that stuff. What other items eventually could you see? I mean, you'd have people running around the store picking up, you know, detergent, that type of stuff. So, I mean, originally it'll be mostly food or breakfast or lunch food, and then eventually other items that you carry in the store? That's what I was just curious about. Thank you, Mr. President.
Sure. If I may, thank you, Councilor Landers. Again, because this is intended only for the mobile app, everything will be pre-ordered. So it's not as though someone would pull up to a message board and say, I'd like paper towels, a sandwich, and wiper blades. I mean, that's not the way it's set up. Everything's done pre-ordered and with a time that you select. So you get in that lane, it's just a matter of when your number is up and you get your items. It's not something where you're sitting in the line ordering. And again, right now, this is just for the food and beverage only. There is a thought, it's not currently in place at any of the stores, but there's a thought that at some point, depending upon how things go, they may increase to other items in the store. But right now, it's just food and beverage, and it's pre-ordered through the mobile app.
Thank you. Councilor Navin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Attorney Falk, just to clarify a point you had made, or to follow up, you had mentioned that there are 8 parking spots that are for the queue in advance of the drive-through. Is that if people get to the site early and they don't have, you know, they don't have the go-ahead to get in line? And then where on the property, if that's accurate, where on the property on this map, where is that located?
The number 8 I think you're referring to is how many cars can queue in the lane at any time, which is the colored cars you see on there. So there's 30 parking spaces on site, and none of them are intended for the app. Somebody could certainly park in that space, order, and then get into the queue when they're ready. But those 30 spaces are for current customers, whether they go in the store or are ordering. But the number 8 is the queue that will fit into the drive up at any time.
Okay, I think I may have appropriated your comments for one of my questions then. So if there, is that expected, is this model anywhere else currently for Alltown?
They have a few other stores. There's one in Air and one in Plymouth that have got online ordering going, and a few in some other states. This is something that, Global Partners is looking to implement, across their various properties. So it's starting with just the food ordering at different stores, and then it may expand or it may stay with food and beverage only.
Okay, I appreciate that clarification. I think maybe when, as the permit process goes on, I'd be interested to know if anyone else is having, I know that when I order and I'm trying to get my food as fast as possible these days, I tend to get to the restaurant a little bit before mine is ready. So I just want to make sure that from a traffic perspective, people have a place to wait safely, that they're not getting in the way of people who are either using the car wash or pumping gas, et cetera. So I appreciate a little bit more information on that. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Navin. Councilor Oram.
Thank you, Mr. President. Actually, I had some of the same questions Councilor Navin just questioned. I guess I'll lead on from there. And so I'm in line and I already used the app, but for some reason, the store didn't have enough personnel to have it ready when I reached the level of the window, Where would I go at that point? Would I go back to those back parking spaces? Would they deliver it to my car from the front? How would that work? Curious if they have that same situation at the other gas stations that are operating like this, convenience stores, I should say.
Sure. So like many mobile apps, you get an alert when it's ready and how much time you have left. And that's something that the employees, are entering in sort of real time as they go. So it's not as much of a mystery as when you pull up to a traditional drive-through order and then, they don't have your breakfast sandwich ready and you've got to go pull to the side. Since in advance, where you are in terms of timing, it helps eliminate some of that. But again, and those are very good points, and I think things that we'll work with the Urban Affairs Committee on, but I think our existing surplus of parking will certainly help and provide plenty of spaces if that did happen.
Okay, and then would they bring it out to them if they were in air and had to make the person drive around again, or will they hand deliver it to a certain parking spot? Is that something that's been figured out at the other locations that utilize this type system?
Not that I'm aware of, Councilor Oram. We'll certainly look into it, but I mean the goal is to do away with the existing curbside, bring it out to your car model and implement, get into the queue when you've got your alert that your order is ready.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor Oram. Are there any other questions from the councilors? Questions from the councilors?
Councilor Ossing, this is
Councilor
President
Roby.
Ossing, sorry.
That's okay. Councilor Roby.
Thank you. I don't think there were any other questions from people. I just wanted to remind everyone that this is in Urban Affairs, and when Mr. Falk gets us the special permit application, we can set up a meeting. I was curious. I attended the site plan meeting and was intrigued to hear the difference in how this does work versus a typical drive-through. And it is nice to know that there will not have to be an application for a variance for an LED message board because there is no LED message board. It is strictly a drive-through window application. So I look forward to taking this up. I also would encourage, I did out of curiosity download the app. I didn't actually order anything, but you can tell, I chose the Air Store and you can tell exactly what they have to order. So play around, find it. Once you get it on, you can easily delete it. But take a look and we'll take this up in Urban Affairs. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Roby. Are there any other questions from the councilors? Any other questions from the councilors? Questions from the councilors? Hearing none, I'll close that part of the public hearing and the entire public hearing, and this is in Urban Affairs. Thank you, Attorney Falk and your team.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you. Do you want a 2-minute recess to clear, or?
Thank you.
We'll take a 2-minute recess to clear the line. City Council back in session at 8:40. And we'll continue with agenda item number 4.
Communication from Councilors Ossing and Tenera regarding municipal aggregation March 2021 update.
Councilor Tenera.
Mr. President, I just want to give a quick update, just to let the residents know that we're doing a great job. We're saving money. So let's see. So since the fourth quarter 2020, the residents have saved over $479,000 compared to the National Grid basic service rate. And number 2, this is 100% wind renewable energy. So I'm sure Mr. Doucette likes that. And always got to throw that in, sorry. And since November 2019, city residents have saved over $2,100,000 on their electric bills with Inspire. So just a couple notes, that's all. Thanks.
And you want to
Accept, please, on file.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file. Is there any discussion on the motion? Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And yes, I do appreciate it being 100% renewable energy. It's important to note that basically renewable energy can be much cheaper than coal or other type of fossil fuel energy. So moving in the right direction.
That is correct. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll to accept and place on file the communication.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councilor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
And Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to accept and place on file the correspondence is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 5.
Communication from at-large Councilor Kathleen Roby regarding summary of comments made related to the proposed zoning amendment to Chapter 650, Section 33, the Results Way Mixed-Use Overlay District, with a proposed zoning map amendment number 21-100-8216A.
President Ossing.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to accept and place on file.
Motion is made and seconded to accept and place on file the correspondence. Is there any questions from the council? Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll to accept and place on file the correspondence.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to accept and place on file the correspondence is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 6.
Communication from the mayor regarding a transfer request in the amount of $26,805 from reserve for salaries and part-time mail clerk to fund vacation and sick leave buyback for 2 retiring employees from the auditor's office.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. As the correspondence says, the funds are available, and as outlined in the attached correspondence, the transfer is for 2 retiring employees. So my motion is to approve the transfer request in the amount of $26,805, please.
Motion made and seconded to approve the transfer. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll to approve the transfer.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
And Councilor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
11 yeas.
The motion to approve the transfer is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 7.
Communication from City Solicitor Jason Grossfield regarding presentation materials relative to the grant and denial of special permits prepared for a future urban affairs discussion Order number 21-100, 8222.
Mr. President, Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to refer this to Urban Affairs.
Motion is made and seconded to refer the solicitor's presentation to Urban Affairs. Any discussion on the motion? Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I just have one question. Does that mean that Solicitor Grossfield will do the presentation at an Urban Affairs meeting?
So I'm assuming the Chair Roby is going to say yes, that Councilor or Solicitor Grossfield will be in attendance at the Urban Affairs meeting to give the presentation.
Yeah, if he could adjust some of the coloring in the presentation, it didn't print out very well.
Councilor Roby has made that comment, and I'm sure it will be corrected.
Thank you very much.
Any other discussion on the motion to refer to Urban Affairs? Seeing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll to send the presentation to Urban Affairs.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councilor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to refer the presentation to Urban Affairs is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 8.
Communication from City Solicitor Jason Grossfield regarding the application for a special permit from Attorney Brian Falk on behalf of Speedy Auto Repair, Inc. to relocate an existing auto body shop from 315 Maple Street to 418 Maple Street in the Commercial Automotive Zoning District with a land area of less than 1 acre, in addition to a pre-existing non-conforming structure on the site, in proper legal form. Order number 2021-100, 8162B.
Mr. President, Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept and place on file the communication from Solicitor Grossfield and to refer the special permit application to number 22.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the communication from the solicitor and refer the special permit to agenda item number 22. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll to accept and place on file the correspondence and refer the special permit to agenda item 22.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to accept and place on file the communication from the solicitor and refer the special permit to agenda item number 22 is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 9.
Communication from Assistant City Solicitor Jason Peaks regarding the application for modification of a special permit from Todd Wilson on behalf of Diversified Funding Acquisitions LLC, Atlantic Property Management, to add kitchenettes to the existing guest rooms for use as an extended stay hotel and the conversion of the manager's residence to a guest room for a total of 65 guest rooms at 880 Donald J. Lynch Boulevard in proper legal form. Order number 21-100, 8171B.
Mr. President, Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, move to accept and place on file the communication from Assistant City Solicitor Jason Peaks and refer the application for the modification of the special permit to number 23.
Motion is made.
Move.
Motion is made and seconded to accept and place on file the communication from the Assistant Solicitor and move the amended special permit to agenda item number 23. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
And Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to refer the communication from the solicitors to accept and place on file and refer the amended special permit to agenda item number 23 is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 10.
Communication from Assistant City Solicitor Jason Peaks regarding the application for a sign special permit from Serato Signs LLC on behalf of Starbucks at 133 South Bolton Street. Proper legal form, order number 21-100-8199B.
Mr. President, Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept and place on file the communication from Assistant City Solicitor Peaks and to move the application for the signed special permit to item number 24.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the communication from the solicitor, assistant solicitor, and refer the signed special permit to agenda item number 24. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councilor Orem.
Councilor Orem votes yes.
Yes, sir.
The motion to accept and place on file the communication from the assistant solicitor and refer the special permit for the sign to agenda item number 24 is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 11.
Communication from Code Enforcement Officer Ethan Lippett regarding the request for approval of a flat wall sign for Best Value Kitchen and Bath, 796 Boston Post Road East, within the Wayside District.
Mr. President, this is Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. I know I have some questions. I would assume other councilors may. I'm going to move to refer this to Urban Affairs to be able to have a conversation with the applicant.
Motion's made and seconded to refer the item to the Urban Affairs Committee. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none and hearing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councilor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Orem.
Councilor Orem votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to refer the flat wall sign to the Urban Affairs Committee is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 12.
Communication from the Retirement Board, regarding notification to the City Council that a cost of living increase pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 32, Section 103I, will be considered at the Board's April 27th, 2021 meeting.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to accept and place on file the communication from the Retirement Board, please.
Motion's made and seconded to accept and place on file the communication from the Retirement Board. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Orem.
Councilor Orem votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
On the motion to accept and place on file the communication from the Retirement Board, it is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item 13.
Communication from the Cultural Council regarding grant cycle awards for 2020-2021.
Mr. President.
Councilor Pearlman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept and place on file the communication from the Cultural Council. I just wanted to provide this so that everybody had an understanding of some of the recent grants. I'm really excited that we were able to receive the state funding.
Motion's made and seconded to accept and place on file the communication from the Cultural Council. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Landers.
Counselor Landers votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Counselor Oram votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Counselor Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
A motion to accept and place on file the correspondence from the Cultural Council is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item 14.
Petition for Massachusetts Electric and Verizon New England to install a new number 5 pole and anchor, which will allow the removal of the pole and tree guy wire at 43 Berlin Road.
Mr. President.
Councilor Landers.
Thank you. I'd like to refer this to the Public Service Committee, and also, if you would please, set a date for a public hearing.
Motion made and seconded to refer the Mass Electric request for installing a pole to the Public Service Committee, and will set a public hearing for April 26th.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Questions or any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. On the motion to refer to public service and set a public hearing for April 26th, I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Oram.
Counselor Oram votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Counselor Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
Counselor Landers.
Counselor Landers votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
A motion to refer to public service and set a public hearing for April 26th is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item 15.
Application for renewal of a junk dealer second-hand dealer license, Antoine Bittard, DBA Hanush Jewelers, at 601 Donald Lynch Boulevard.
Councilor Landers.
Mr. President, I'd like to refer this also to Public Service Committee.
Motion's made and seconded to refer to the Public Services Committee. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Mr. President, this is Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby.
I know that typically this would get referred and there would be a meeting, but this is a renewal of a continuous renewal. Is there really anything that you need to find out that's different from what we already know and can't just approve this tonight?
I will refer that question to Councilor Landers.
I think that's a direction, Mr. President, we should probably take a look at, but for now, I'd like this to go to committee. Because I will probably have somewhere between 3 and 5 additional ones, but I think at that time we might discuss that we would probably renewals handle a little differently.
Very well.
So what I'll do is have a committee meeting, and we have that and a few other things that we'll discuss at our next Public Service Committee, and bring that up, and that might be a very, very beneficial conversation. Thank you, Mr. President.
Does that suffice, Councilor Roby?
It does. I would hope that once the public hearing happens, that there is not a request to then suspend the rules to vote on it instead of just doing it this evening. Thank you.
You're welcome, Councilor Roby. Okay, with that, on the motion to refer the junk dealer license for Hanush Jewelers to public service, any further discussion? Hearing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Counselor Oram votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Landers.
Counselor Landers votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Counselor Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
On the motion to refer the junk dealer license to the Public Services Committee, it is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item 16.
Minutes of boards, commissions, and committees.
Mr. President.
Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I propose to accept and place on file the minutes of the boards, commissions, and committees.
Motion is made and seconded to accept and place on file the minutes of the boards and commissions and committees. Any discussion on the motion?
Mr. President?
Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Just to rub Mr. Tenera into this, I'd like to make note that the school committee actually had a big discussion about having solar panels on the roofs of the schools. It's going along, which shows that we can actually get cheap electricity, not just from wind, but also from solar. So thank you very much.
Any further discussion? I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councillor Roby.
Councillor Roby votes yes.
Councillor Doucette.
Councillor Doucette votes yes.
Councillor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councillor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councillor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councillor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
Councillor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councillor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councillor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councillor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councillor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
Motion to accept and place on file the minutes is approved. 11, is accepted and placed on file. 11 in favor, none opposed. Item 17.
Claims.
Mr. President.
Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Propose to send the claims to legal.
Motion made and seconded to send the claims to the legal department. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councillor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councillor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councillor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councillor Dumas.
Okay. Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councillor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
Councillor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councillor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councillor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councillor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councillor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councillor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to refer the claims to the legal department is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. Reports of committees. Who wants to go first? Councilor Dumas.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Personnel Committee met on March 29th. We had 2 items on the agenda. The meeting started at 7 o'clock. All 3 members of the Personnel Committee were there. There was 2 items on the agenda. Order number 21-100-8232, communication from Mayor Vigent with the appointment of Robert Gustafson to the Retiring Board for a 3-year term, effective the date of council confirmation, replacing David Keene, whose term expired January 31st. After some debate, the committee voted 3-0 with the motion to approve was by Landers, seconded by the chair. The next item on the agenda was order number 18245, communication from Mayor Vigent with the amendment to the City Code Chapter 19 Boards and Commissions, Article 6 with the Youth Commission. So we did not get to finish this just because there was numerous items on to create or recreate this board and commission, so we had to postpone it to the next meeting. And that was carried 3-0, and we adjourned at 7:40. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Dumas. Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Finance Committee met on March 29, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. We had 3 items that evening on the agenda. First one was order number 21-100-8242, transfer in the amount of $158,128.90 for the DPW as requested by Commissioner Dival to fund the following: superannuation, retirement, upcoming legal expenses, purchase of chemicals, and maintenance at the pump stations, cost for park, maintenance, projects, and cost of scheduled weekend overtime at the West Plant. Motion by Council Oram, second by the chair to approve the transfer. Motion carried 5-0. Second item was order number 21-100-8244A, communication from Mayor Vigent requesting an amendment to City Code Chapter 67, Finance Section 28, Principal Assessor, Powers and Duties, to amend the qualifications of the Principal Assessor, together with the proposed updated job description answering Council Oram's inquiry why the city is considering a full-time employee in favor of a contract with a professional assessing company. The mayor did state that working with the company was unique with the ability to access diverse expertise, and although very successful, he is exploring the options. A motion by Councilor Tenera, seconded by the chair, to recommend approval of the amendment to City Code Chapter 67, Finance Section 28, Principal Assessors, Powers and Duties. Per roll call, motion carried 5-0. The last item on the agenda that evening was order number 21-100, 8244B. Proposed job description for the position of principal assessor. Motion by Councilor Pearlman, seconded by the chair, to recommend approval of the job description as amended. Per Chair Irish, the principal assessor is a 40-hour week position with minimum salary of $97,475.48 to a maximum of $109,773.45. Councilor Pearlman suggested amendment to page 2 of the job description. Supervision received to add the finance director after comptroller/treasurer to complement the makeup of the current finance team. Per roll call, the motion carried 5-0. The Finance Committee adjourned at 7:01 p.m. That's the end of my report, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Irish. Councilor Wagner.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Human Services Committee met on Monday, March 29th. We convened at 7:42. All 3 members of the Human Services Committee were present, and we were joined by UMass Marlborough Hospital representatives Jim Leary, Vice President of Governmental Affairs, and Ellen Carlucci, Vice President, Development, Marketing, and Communications, both of whom participated remotely via Teams. There was one item on the agenda, order number 21-18849, which ordered that the Human Services Committee hold a public meeting to allow Marlborough Hospital leadership to present additional details regarding the Mass General Brigham proposed expansion. And Jim Leary and Ellen Carlucci made a presentation on the impact of Mass General Brigham's proposed expansion that it'll have on local healthcare institutions, focusing specifically on safety net hospitals, which includes UMass Marlborough Hospital. Additionally, Mr. Leary reported that the Bureau of Healthcare Safety and Quality has scheduled a determination of need public hearing for the Westboro Marlborough Mass General Brigham expansion, and that hearing will be tomorrow night, Tuesday, April 6th. Information was provided to council. I'm happy to provide that information again if needed. Motion was made by Councilor Irish, seconded by the chair, to accept and place on file the information that was shared by UMass Marlborough staff. The motion carried 3-0, and then we moved to adjourn when that motion carried, and we adjourned at 8:20.
Thank you, Councilor Wagner. And do you have something else?
In addition, yes, thank you. In addition, I have one other item for this evening. I respectfully request the following. I move that we suspend the rules in order for me to add the following item to the agenda this evening, which, if approved, I will then move to refer to the Human Services Committee. The following order has been provided in writing to all the councilors. Order that the Human Services Committee hold a public meeting to allow Mass General Brigham Hospital leadership to present additional details regarding the Mass General Brigham proposed expansion. The item has been submitted by me, Councilor Wagner.
There's been a motion to suspend the rules. I will ask the clerk to suspend the rules to entertain the order.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councilor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
And Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
Motion to suspend the rules is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. Councilor Wagner.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the order be referred to Human Services
Motion made and seconded to refer the order to the Human Services Committee. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll to refer the order to the Human Services Committee.
Councillor Ossing.
Councillor Ossing votes yes.
Councillor Roby.
Councillor Roby votes yes.
Councillor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councillor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councillor Navin.
Councillor Navin votes yes.
Councillor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councillor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councillor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councillor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councillor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
And Councillor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
11 yeas.
The motion to refer the order to the Human Services Committee is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. You're good? All right, moving on. Agenda item 18.
Order number 21-100-8212A, a request from Public Works Commissioner Sean Dival for the creation of a new full-time permanent union position entitled Resident Drop-Off Station Attendant, together with the job description dated 9/24/20. Recommendation of the Finance Committee is to approve the position and job description.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Recommendation of committee is to approve the position and job description.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the position and the job description. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councillor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councillor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councillor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councillor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
Councillor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councillor Navin.
Councillor Navin votes yes.
Councillor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councillor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councillor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councillor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councillor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
11 yeas.
The job description and position for the resident drop-off attendant is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item 19.
Order number 21-100-8212B1, proposed salary ordinance to Chapter 125 Personnel, Section 6, Salary Schedule, to add the position of resident drop-off station attendant. And the recommendation of the Finance Committee is to approve. The proposed ordinance was properly advertised on March 26, 2021, and the 10-day requirement has been met.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Recommendation of committee is to approve the proposed salary ordinance.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the salary ordinance. And again, councilors, this is an ordinance change, so it must pass all 4 stages of the ordinance. I gotta let the clerk get ready.
All set. Sorry.
All those in favor of suspending the first reading and approving the second reading, I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councillor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councillor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councillor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councillor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councillor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councillor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councillor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councillor Navin.
Councillor Navin votes yes.
Councillor Oram.
Oram votes yes.
Councillor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
And Councillor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
Okay, those in favor of suspending the first and approving the second is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. All those in favor of the passage to be enrolled, I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councillor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councillor Oram.
Oram votes yes.
Councillor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councillor Navin.
Councillor Navin votes yes.
Councillor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councillor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
Councillor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councillor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councillor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councillor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councillor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The passage to be enrolled is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. All those in favor of the passage to be ordained, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councillor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councillor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councillor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councillor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
Councillor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councillor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councillor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councillor Navin.
Councillor Navin votes yes.
Councillor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councillor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councillor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The passage to be ordained is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. Is there any objection to passage in one evening? Don't hear any. So the ordinance is approved. Agenda item number 20.
Order number 21-100, 8229, transferring the amount of $243,000 from PEG funds to IT department to fund various upgrades to equipment and software programs. And the recommendation of the Finance Committee is to approve.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Recommendation of committee is to approve the transfer.
Motion made and seconded to approve the transfer of $243,000. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landis votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Oram votes yes.
7 yeas, sir.
The motion to approve the transfer of $243,000 is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 21.
Order number 21-100, 8231, the appointment of Christine Purple as Human Resources Director for a 3-year term effective the day after council confirmation. The recommendation of the Personnel Committee is to approve.
Councilor Dumas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to approve.
Motion made and seconded to approve the appointment of our new HR Director. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Oram votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landis votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to approve our new HR Director is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. Before I get to number 22, do you need water or anything?
That's not right now.
Okay. Councilors, we have 3 permits to go through. Just making sure our city clerk can speak eloquently through each one. Agenda item number 22.
Order number 21-100, 8162B, application for a special permit by Attorney Brian Falk on behalf of Speedy Auto Repair, Inc. to relocate an existing auto body shop from 315 Maple Street to 418 Maple Street in the Commercial Automotive District with land less than 1 acre with a pre-existing non-conforming structure on the site. And the recommendation of the Urban Affairs Committee is to approve.
Councilor Roby.
Mr. President, move the recommendation of committee, which is to approve.
Motion is made and seconded to move the recommendation of the committee, which is to approve the special permit. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I will ask the clerk to read the conditions.
The City Council, pursuant to its authority under Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40A, and the zoning ordinance of the City of Marlborough, hereby grants the applicant a special permit for an auto repair use at 418 Maple Street on a parcel with an area of less than 1 acre and a change in use of a pre-existing non-conforming structure at 418 Maple Street from retail small engine repair to auto repair as shown in the plans filed, subject to the following conditions, which conditions shall be binding on the applicant, its successors, and/or signs. 1, construction in accordance with applicable laws. Construction of all structures on the site is to be in accordance with all applicable building codes and zoning regulations in effect in the City of Marlborough and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and shall be built according to the plans as may be amended during the site plan review. 2, site plan review. The issuance of the special permit is further subject to detailed site plan review by the Site Plan Review Committee, including the architectural impacts of the building and the use of storage structures in accordance with the City of Marlborough Site Plan Review Ordinance prior to the issuance of the building permit. Any additional changes, alterations, modifications, or amendments as required during the process of site plan review shall be further conditions attached to the building permit, and no occupancy permit shall be issued until the applicant has complied with all the conditions. Subsequent site plan review shall be consistent with the conditions of this special permit, and the plan submitted, reviewed, and approved by the City Council as a special permit granting authority. 3, modification of plans. Notwithstanding conditions 1 and 2 above, the City Council or the Site Plan Review Committee may approve engineering changes to the plans so long as said changes do not change the use or as approved herein or material increase the impervious area of the use, reduce the green area, alter traffic flow, or increase the size of the building as shown on the plans. 4, incorporation of submissions, all plans, photo renderings, site evaluations, briefs, and other documentation provided by the applicant as part of the application and as amended or revised during the application hearing process before the City Council and/or City Council's Urban Affairs Committee are herein incorporated into and become part of this special permit and become conditions and requirements of the same unless otherwise altered by the City Council. 5, stormwater and erosion control management. The applicant, its successors, and/or signs shall ensure that its site superintendent during construction of this project is competent in stormwater and erosion control management. This individual's credentials shall be acceptable to the engineering division of the City of Marlborough's Department of Public Works and the city's Conservation Commission. This individual shall be responsible for checking the site before, during, and after storm events, including weekends and evenings when storms are predicted. This individual shall ensure that no untreated stormwater leaves the site consistent with the state and city stormwater regulations. This individual shall ensure compliance with the approved sequence of construction plan and the approved erosion control plan. The applicant, its successors, and/or signs shall grant this individual complete authority of the site as it relates to stormwater and erosion controls. 6, lighting. Exterior lighting at the site shall be downward facing and shielded to minimize impacts on neighboring properties, with a lighting plan for the site to be reviewed and further conditioned during the site plan review process. Exterior lighting at the site shall be shut off outside of the auto repair use operating hours except for lighting necessary for security and emergency access. 7, signs. Signage at the site shall be flat wall signs and comply with the city's sign ordinance, specifically but not limited to section 526-9 non-residence districts of the Code of the City of Marlborough. The LED sign on the south side of the building shall be removed prior to occupancy. No LED sign shall be allowed at the site without the approval of the City Council. 8, indoor repairs. All repairs shall take place indoors with the exception of minor non-nuisance repair work and the temporary storage of vehicles undergoing repairs at the site. The applicant shall use and maintain in good working order an indoor paint spray booth or similar technology. 9, fencing. The applicant shall install solid fencing to screen areas of the site used for the storage of vehicles under repair from the view of abutting properties and public ways and shall maintain the fencing in good repair. No other outdoor storage shall be permitted at the site inside or outside of fenced areas. The fencing shall comply with the requirements of all applicable city ordinances. Dumpsters shall be stored inside the fenced area. Fencing and gates at the site shall be designed to prevent vehicles from using the site as a pass-through between Maple Street and Walker Street. 10, noise and air quality. The applicant, its successors, and/or signs shall comply with the city's noise ordinance and comply with all state and federal requirements governing air quality and emissions. 11, paint, solvents, and hazardous materials waste. Any excess paint, solvents, or hazardous materials at the site shall be stored in a secured container provided by a professional waste removal vendor, and the container shall be removed and replaced by the vendor as needed. 12, curb cuts. The site shall have 2 curb cuts, with one along Maple Street and one along Walker Street. The existing curb cut along Walker Street closest to the corner of Maple Street shall be eliminated. 13, landscaping. The applicant, its successors, and/or sign shall improve the landscaping at the site, adding new landscaped areas as shown on the sketch plan attached here too as Exhibit B. As detailed landscaping plan for the site plan be reviewed and further conditioned during the site plan review process. The landscaping shall be sufficient in the opinion of the Site Plan Review Committee to improve the aesthetics of the corner of Maple Street and Walker Street during all seasons and with adequate trees and shrubs, and shall be more robust than is required by the zoning ordinance. 14, parking. Parking areas for vehicles under repair, employees and customers shall be orderly and in designated striped areas to be defined during the site plan review process. The applicant, its successors, and/or signs shall not park vehicles under repair or employee vehicles off the site along public ways. 15, vehicle sales. The site may not be used for sale of vehicles. 16, storage structures. The current use of the storage structures located on the site as a self-storage facility defined in section 655 of the zoning ordinance shall be subject to site plan review, taking into consideration parking requirements, landscaping, and screening. 17, operating hours. The maximum operating hours of the auto repair use shall be Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. 18, recording of decision. In accordance with the provisions of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 48, Section 11, the applicant, its successors, and/or signs at its expense shall record this special permit in the Middlesex South Registry of Deeds after the city clerk has certified that the 20-day period for appealing this special permit has elapsed with no appeal having been filed and before the applicant has applied to the building commissioner for a building permit. Upon recording, the applicant shall forthwith provide a copy of the recorded special permit to the City Council Office, the Building Department, and the City Solicitor's Office.
I'm going to speak slow before we take the vote.
I'm okay, thank you, though.
Okay, I'll now ask the clerk to call the roll for the vote on the special permit for Speedy Auto.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Roby. Councilor Roby?
Councilor Roby votes yes. Sorry, I thought you heard me.
Councilor Wagner?
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Irish?
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Dumas?
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Landers?
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councilor Navin?
Councilor Naven votes yes.
Councilor Ossing?
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Pearlman?
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The special permit for Speedy Auto at 418 Maple Street is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. You're good? I just want to make sure you're all set.
Yes, sir.
Agenda item number 23.
Order number 21-100, 8171B, application for modification of a special permit from Todd Wilson on behalf of Diversified Funding Acquisition LLC, Atlantic Property Management, to add kitchenettes to existing guest rooms for use as an extended stay hotel with the conversion of the manager's residence to a guest room for a total of 65 rooms at a hotel at 880 Donald Lynch Boulevard. And the recommendation of the Urban Affairs Committee is to approve.
Mr. President, Councilor Roby?
Councilor Roby.
Thank you. I move the recommendation of committee, which is to approve.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the recommendation of the Urban Affairs Committee, which is to approve the special permit. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, take a deep breath. I'll ask the clerk to read the conditions.
Pursuant to its authority under General Laws, Chapter 48, the City Council grants the applicant the special permit modification to convert the manager's residence to a guest room for a total of 65 guest rooms and to add kitchenettes to each of the guest rooms and to make other modifications, all as set out in the plans appended to the application subject to the following conditions. 1, project plans and specification. Construction of the interior improvements to the building shall be in accordance with all applicable building codes and zoning regulations presently in effect in the City of Marlborough and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. 2, the project shall be constructed, maintained, and operated according to the specifications, terms, and conditions of the application and its compliance with conditions. 3, all plans, photo renderings, site briefs, site evaluations, briefs, and other documentation provided by the applicant as part of the application and as amended or revised during the application hearing process before the City Council and/or the City Council's Urban Affairs Committee are herein incorporated into and become part of this special permit modification and become conditions and requirements of the same unless otherwise altered by the City Council. 4, notwithstanding condition 2 and 3 hereof, changes may be made to said plans as approved by the building commissioner so long as said changes do not change the use of the site as approved herein or increase the size or shape of the building. 5, the project shall be classified as residential group R2 under the state building code and will receive a certificate of occupancy permitting guests to stay for longer than 30 days, but the classification does not prohibit guests from staying 30 days or less. 6, hazardous waste. The applicant shall comply with all directives of the Department of Environmental Protection of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts relative to the existence of any hazardous waste which may be located on the site, including compliance with the provisions of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 21E, and any other laws as they relate to the authority of the City of Marlborough Fire Chief. 7, compliance with local, state, and federal laws. The applicant shall comply with all applicable rules and regulations and ordinances of the City of Marlborough and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and federal agencies as they may apply to the construction, maintenance, and operation of this project, including, without limitation, the State Building Code. 8, waste, water, sewer. The applicant shall connect the existing building to the municipal sewer system within 6 months of taking ownership of the property, provided that this period may be further extended for good cause and with the consent of the City Council. Provided that it is feasible and legally permissible, the applicant shall connect the building to the sewer system via the sewer line that serves the adjacent parcel with a street address of 876 Donald J. Lynch Boulevard, shown in the City of Marlborough Assessor's Maps 50, Parcel 4A. If it is not feasible or legally permissible to connect via the service line at 876 Donald J. Lynch Boulevard, then the applicant may connect to the municipal sewer system associated with the Donald J. Lynch Boulevard, including excavating the road if necessary, provided that the applicant satisfies such conditions as are required by the Department of Public Works and are customary for similarly situated connections. In either case, the applicant shall present a design plan showing the proposed sewer connection for approval by the Department of Public Works and shall obtain all necessary permits and approvals prior to commencing the construction work on the sewer connection. The kitchenette shall not include garbage grinders until the building is connected to the municipal sewer system. Water and sewer services provided to the project shall be subject to the applicable citywide water and sewer charges, subject to adjustment by the Commissioner of Public Works. 9, on-duty employees. During the operation of the facility, at least one employee will be on duty at all times. 10, fire protection sprinkler system. The applicant shall adhere to the fire code report and shall modify the sprinkler layouts in type D units so that so that upon completion of the alterations to the 4 Type D units, these units shall have fire protection sprinkler systems that are code compliant. Upon completion of these modifications, the applicant shall submit a follow-up report to the fire department presenting the opinion of a professional fire protection engineer that the proposed modified sprinkler layout for all 4 Type D units is code compliant. 11, recording of special permit. In accordance with the provisions of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 48, Section 11, the applicant at its expense shall record the special permit in the Middlesex South Registry of Deeds after the city clerk has certified that the 20-day period for appealing the special permit has elapsed with no appeal having been filed, and before the applicant shall apply to the building commissioner for a building permit concerning the proposed expansion. Applicant shall provide a copy of the recorded special permit to the city council office, the building department, and the city solicitor's office.
Hold on. Okay. We'll now take a vote on the special permit for the Quality Inn at 880 Donald Lynch Boulevard for the 65 kitchenettes. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Perlman.
Councilor Perlman votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
And Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The special permit for the Quality Inn at 880 Donald Lynch Boulevard for the 65 kitchenettes is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item 24.
Order number 21-100, 8199D, application for a signed special permit from Serato Signs LLC on behalf of Starbucks at 133 South Bolton Street for the operation of an electronic menu board sign, and the recommendation of the Urban Affairs Committee is to approve.
Mr. President, Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to move the recommendation of committee, which is to approve. I would also like to point out that although it's not in the conditions, so it will not be read, in the findings of fact is information about the variance from the planning board for this site. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Roby. The motion has been made and seconded to approve the sign permit by the Urban Affairs Committee. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I will ask the clerk to read the conditions for the sign permit.
The City Council, pursuant to its authority under Section 526.13 of the sign ordinance, hereby grants the applicant an LED sign special permit for the sign, subject to the following conditions, which conditions shall be binding on the applicant, its successors, and/or signs. 1, the sign shall be operated in accordance with the sign ordinance of the City of Marlborough, and in addition, the sign shall be turned off when the cafe is not open for business. 2, all plans and/or other documentation provided by the applicant as part of the application and as amended during the application hearing process before the City Council and/or the City Council's Urban Affairs Committee are incorporated into and become part of this LED sign special permit and become conditions and requirements of the same unless otherwise altered by the City Council. 3, the applicant will take measures necessary to ensure compliance with the City of Marlborough Noise Ordinance, Chapter 431 of the City Code at the site. That's it. Sorry.
All right, the motion has been made and seconded to approve the signed special permit for the Starbucks on South Bolton Street. I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Perlman.
Councilor Perlman votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councilor Roby. I'm sorry, Councilor, you were muted.
Sorry, Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
And Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to approve the sign permit Starbucks is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed.
Mr. President,
Councilor Tenera.
motion to adjourn.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councilor Perlman.
Counselor Perlman votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Ross.
Counselor Rossing votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
Motion to adjourn is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. We are adjourned at 9:35.